In this presentation, it will be covered by introduction, company background, result analysis, and recommendation. Introduction. An investment is an asset acquired with expectation of generating income in financial form with a chance of involving ourselves like an investor purchasing securities in the hope that the value of the securities will increase in the future. We choose to analyze the company Runhill, PBA, and Cellcon. To understand the company financial situation much better is by using vertical analysis on the financial position and horizontal analysis on the company financial performance, following the trend every year from 2016 to 2020. Horizontal analysis is a tool that is used in financial statement analysis to compare the company historical data during the time period. For vertical analysis, it's the same as horizontal analysis. However, the difference is in the item that they used. For example, vertical analysis do comparison on balance sheet and income statement.
The first company is a Malaysian company called Rahil Utilities Berhad, was founded in 1955. Rahil was listed on Bursa Security Main Market and the FTSE for Good Bursa Malaysia Index. Environment, Energy and Engineering are Rahil's current three business divisions. More importantly, Rahil aims to improve the quality of life by leading the way in sustainable energy and environment solutions through creative and clean technology. A regional leader in water, wastewater and energy with emphasis on circular economy is the company objective. The central value are respect, resourcefulness and result. Runhill has been involved in many landmark projects, including the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, the Petronas Twin Tower, KLIA2 and many more. By 2022, Runhill expects to own and operate clean energy plants total 1,000 million and 3 million litres per day of water and wastewater treatment capacity.
PBA Holdings background. Perbadanan Bekalan Air Holdings Berhad or PBHB is also a Malaysia-based company which can be a company that is listed on the board of Bursa Malaysia. The corporation was incorporated on 25th May 2000 and listed on 18 April 2002. PBHB's principal and owned subsidiary includes Perbadanan Bakalan Air Pulau Pinang Sdn Bhd, PBA Resources Sdn Bhd and PBA Green Technology. As a public listed group of companies, PBHB operates in accordance with the principle of accountability. To our shareholders, our customer, still on the principle of fine governance as needed by the Bursa Malaysia Security Market Holdings Company.
Next is Cellcon Berhad. It is a Malaysian company that specializes in investment holdings. This company was founded in 1974 and has seen open more than 13 branches. For over 40 years, the group competence and vast experience in water and wastewater solution have crossed geographical borders to reap benefit communities in countries such as Sri Lanka, Thailand and Vietnam. Apart from that, this company's motive is to enhance people's live through long-term business portfolio. In other words, through products and services, they improve people live while creating long-term sustainable value for shareholders.
The first section is vertical analysis. So here, the significant item for common size financial statements of Runhill Utilities Berhad. There are 5 elements involved. To begin with, the changes of property, plant and equipment highest percentage was reached to 19% in 2019. By completing the same analysis for each year, Runhill eventually has experienced a growing trend from 9.84% to 13% in 2019 and 2020 correspondingly. On the other hand, in line with non-current asset, investment associate has increased from 2018 to 2020. As shown in the table above, most items in current asset have risen. Generally, it indicates that the loan and borrowing has the best performance in 2018 due to lowest percentage. The second item for current liability is trade and other payable. It shows the uptrend trend occurred in 2018 until 2020. Furthermore, the non-current liability has increased from 2018 to 2020. The final components of financial statement is equity. Runhill Utilities Berhad has reached 55.56% in 2020 due to an increase in return earning and sale of share.
Next is vertical analysis for PBA Holdings Berhad. The first significant item from this organization are non-current assets, for instance, property, plant, and equipment. In a time span of 3 years, there is a slight decrease in changes from 2018 with 80.91% to 2019 with 72.56%. For the continuous year of 2020, it increased a bit to 76.01%. This may be due to the company capitalized their asset. Next is the company current asset, their cash and cash equivalents. In the year 2018, the company cash was 14.44%. However, the next year, 2019, the company cash started to go downward at 10.65%. And finally, for 2020, it kept decreasing to 7.31%. This was maybe due to the company is to focus on their investing and forgot to sustain a healthy cash and cash equivalent outflow. Last but not least is the company equity. For instance, the company share capital. In the year 2018, the company had 25.92%. It was the highest among the time span of 3 years. However, the share capital of the company started to decrease to 22.09% in the year of 2019. This can be the reason why the company has sold most of its share capital to others. For the year 2020, it started to gain back up again to 32.20% compared to 2019.
In addition to that, based on the common size Salcon Berhad, shows the decrease in non-current asset. The decreases involve property, plant and equipment from 2018 to 2020. Therefore, the decline may occur caused by pandemic COVID-19. Besides that, intangible asset. The changes also show the diminish from 2019 to 2020. In 2018, the change is 4% and slightly increased in 2019 and suddenly fall to 3%. To add, investment in associate also show the shrinking. In addition to that, investment in joint ventures also signified a notable decrease in percent changes. It can be viewed in 2018, where Salcon earned a 6% change toward investment in joint venture, whereas 5% and 4% in 2019 and 2020. Next, let's dive into Salcon Berhad current asset. The changes were highlighted in trade and other receivable, following with 23% into 20% and 22% in 2019 and 2020. In brief, the surge in trade and other receivable may be caused by the company having traded extra product during a certain period. Furthermore, inventories also show the noteworthy changes in a row from 2018 to 2020. In general, lessening in inventory could be due to lower demand and fabulous sales for company goods. Additionally, cash and cash equivalents. On despite weekend grabs in 2018, their changes are at 18%. In the meantime, their changes started to rocket up to 21% and 24% for 2019 and 2020. Moreover, the equity. It was demonstrated that the company share capital is growing year by year. Hence, for 2018, its company change is 69%. In the interim, its share capital is speedily increased by 8%, which influenced the change at 70% and 77% for 2019 and 2020. Last but not least, there is only one item showing the significant change, which is loan and borrowing. It can be illustrated that the company is successful in reducing its borrowing as its changes decrease for the 3 years. To summarize its current liability, we can see in trade and other payables that the decline changes from 2018 at 13% and swiftly rises to 14% in 2019, but then dropped by 13% in 2020.
Runhill Utilities Berhad, PBA Holdings Berhad, and Salcon Berhad are companies that were selected for comparison with one another to compare all items of the financial statement. As shown in the table above, PBA Holdings Berhad has the largest value in terms of property, plant and equipment, followed by Runhill and Salcon Berhad. Second, deposit, cash and bank balance account for significant portions of current asset. Only one company, PBA Holding Berhad, has seen their deposit, cash and bank balance decrease on a consistent basis during the last 3 years. Aside from that, Runhill Utilities Berhad has demonstrated an increase in current liability of 2%, with an additional increase in the following year. Finally, in terms of equity, Salcon Berhad has the biggest common size in those 3 years.
Without further ado, the company which performed better is PBA. Thus, PBA has the largest value in the assets, especially in non-current asset. This company managed to sustain its non-current asset for 3 years in a row. For example, this non-current asset, which consists of property, plant and equipment, are higher at 80% 2018. It indicates that PBA has a long-term investment. Next, Salcon Berhad is the second company which performs better. This is due to Salcon Berhad having the biggest amount in equity. For example, its share capital will continue to increase from 2018 with the value of 69%, 73% in 2019, and last but not least, 77% in 2020. The rise in share capital will encourage profit for company development. In conclusion, Runhill Utilities Berhad is becoming the worst company that did not perform well in terms of financial position. This can be seen in current liabilities. Their current liabilities are not in a good position for the next 3 years. Runhill has shown the increase from 7.8% to 11.29% in 2018 to 2020. Apart from that, in 2020, its current liability are 11.29% more than its current asset that are 11.18%. Overall, it means that the company is not be able to pay its trade and other payable as its current asset is lower than its liabilities.
The second section in this video is horizontal analysis. According to data in the table, the sale percentage increased from 2016 to 2019, which is 112.01%, but then dropped by roughly 10% in the following year. Conversely, for more than 5 years, the cost of goods sold has been steadily growing, for instance, from 97.92% in 2017 until 107.35% in 2020. Another factor to examine is total operating costs, which have increased for the year 2016 to the year 2018. Runhill, except for 2019, is experiencing financial difficulties, which has resulted in a lower percentage, which is 101.89%. Furthermore, the earning before interest and tax indicates the downward tendency for 2017 are 121.42% to 2020, are 64.35% except for the year 2019. Finally, the earning after tax tend to this will decline from 2016 to 2018, and this trend continued through 2020. As reported by Runhill Utilities Berhad, the earning after tax has dropped by 62%, mostly due to a scheduled hot gas route, inspection, maintenance expenditure.
Next is the horizontal analysis for PPA Holdings Berhad. According to the table above, we can see that the trend for sales between the year 2017 with 95.61% to 2018 with 102.47% is increasing due to the company's revenue from contracts with their customer. For the year 2019, it also started to increase a bit from 102.47% in 2018 to 104.13% for the continuation year. However, in the next year 2020, the sales of the company started to decrease back to 102.94%. Next is the trend analysis for the company PBA, is the cost of goods sold. In 2017, the cost of goods sold for the company was below average as their base year with 99.76%. However, in the next year, the company's cost of goods sold jumped back to 105.49%, the highest among the period of 5 years. However, for the year 2019 and 2020, the cost of goods sold for the company has started to decrease again in 2019 with 103.16% and 2020 with 100.45%. Lastly is the company earnings before tax. At the very start of the base year, according to the table trend analysis, we can see that the company has a very low earnings. For example, we can see from the company trend analysis table, their trend from 2017 to 2019 was a downtrend. In 2017, it was 74.91%. In 2018, it was 66.13%, and for 2020, it was 51.45%, the lowest among the period of 5 years. However, in the next year, 2020, it started to grow to 57.77% compared to the last year.
First of all, sales. Celcon Berhad sales are declining from 2017 to 2018, which is 208 to 131%. The decrease was the effect of lower retail contribution from the property development division. However, afterward, the trend is rising quickly, which built its revenue to 196% in 2020. Besides that, the cost of goods sold indicate the dropping for the 1 year's financial performance. As we can see, starting from 2016 and 2017, the cost of goods sold is inclining at 100 to 253%, but then it quickly fell to 139% in 2018. Nevertheless, the cost of sales slightly increases in 2019-2020 to 225% and 244%, but not as high as compared in 2017. In addition to that total operating cost, the trend of total operating cost for Celcon is interpreted as falling for the 5 years. This is because Celcon Berhad is tumbling operating expenses by 16 million. To certify cost optimization. Last but not least, earning before interest and tax. In 2017, it shows that earning before interest and tax rose up to 297%. This is because the revenue is higher, which is 206,492,000, as stated in the annual report compared to the 5 years analysis. Nonetheless, the trend is indicated dropping from 2018 to 2020. In the intervening time, the company earning before interest and tax are slightly down to 13% in 2018. After that, their earning before interest and tax gradually increased, but that again still considered drop as it did not arise in a higher percentage in 2019 to 2020. In conclusion, earning after tax sharply plummeted for the 4 years. Hence, it can be seen from 2017, this company has faced a loss after tax and endured the loss in 2020. These losses are caused by small initial investment that will consume a long time to generate business.
To compare the three companies, Runhill, PBA, and Celcon, we need to access their 5 items from the trend analysis table from each company. We can see that according to the table from the 3 companies, Runhill is the most stable, followed by PBA and Celcon. In sales for the 3 companies, we can see that Celcon has the highest among others, but the company is in the negative zone for their earnings, where for investors, it is a clear sign not to invest in them. From the 3 companies trend analysis table, we can say that the company Runhill holds the highest percentage among the other 2 companies in terms of their earnings before tax, where the company has reached over 140%. For PBA, their earnings were subtle. However, it is still below Runhill's earning. Then for Salcon, even though the company earnings before tax in the year 2017 was 297.64%, but for the next year 2018, it drastically declined to 13.87%. However, for Runhill, their earnings before tax were stable and the decrease was not major enough to disrupt the company performance.
To summarize, Runhill Utilities Berhad is the best company out of 3 companies such as PBA Holding Berhad and Salcon. The graph above clearly demonstrates that the company has dominated nearly all the index. PBA Holding Berhad is another well-organized company that does well on most of the index, except for 2018 in earning after tax. Finally, Salcon Berhad has a poor index number trends, for example, in total operating cost, which has an impact on earning after tax. This is because the company has a net loss after deducting allowed businesses expenses from its revenues.
Several recommendations are specifically highlighted to reach positive earning after tax to recover the weaknesses of Salcon Berhad. First of all, Salcon Berhad need to create a backup plan to establish new and more realistic sales projections. Besides that, Salcon Berhad must adapt, convert, and reinvent their business. This entails reducing expenses to achieve a profit figure that reflect the bare minimum required to keep the company afloat. In short, Salcon Berhad need to review the cost structure. This is an exercise that should become a habit to increase company profits.